Hello, welcome and welcome back to Serendipitous Deck series sermons. Whatever they are to you, that's absolutely fine. I have a few things I do want to speak about today, as much as also getting a card and feeling it. But what occurred to me is I'm almost coming at this like I am now choosing to do these cards to like listen to them in front of a camera and put that online, as if that's not a completely aligned choice, as if that's not exactly what was supposed to happen in a sense, with me finding the cards when I did and them being a big part of a journey of spirituality and coming back to the understanding of my own consciousness as an energetic being in a human vessel, and therefore like that leading me on the path that I went on, which then would lead me to a place in time where I end up in a country that is along my Pluto line in astrocartography, which would be France, which is the planet of rebirth, death, transformation, and massive transformations happened within me there, that are starting to take hold in my external life, but starts here. Stuff that I would have had so much of an issue with doing beforehand. And so I am absolutely, I mean, it's not like it needed convincing. It's more like whether it's aligned for you to believe in something or not, or to find guidance within it or not, right? Um, like look into your astrocartography if it has ever been something interesting to you. I still don't know enough about it, but like that one line is going anyway. So transformations there happened that led me to be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to do these cards online. I have done some for myself before this. Like I have the notes written out and stuff, but I was doing it alone, and it's something that started a while back at the like there's certain almost bookmarked moments you'll probably notice within your own spiritual journey of like awakening, but also certain growth in different areas, right? And then like those pieces continue to weave and make more sense later on in it and everything. And so that's why like following your intuition is important, because it is going to lead to something at some point, even if in that moment you don't know the why. Having faith and trust in the fact that there is a why, or there is a reason for your future self, and your future self or your higher self or the universe needs you to listen in that moment so that later on something else makes sense. And it hit me that, of course, each card that calls to me every time I do this is aligned with not only things that I need to hear, but is also aligned with the things that are ongoing within our entire energetic sphere, because it's 303 when I said that. Like it, this is exactly the time that it's supposed to be spoken about. And so, as much as I may think like a lot of, oh, it's my, I've just decided to do, sure. And also, I am allowing myself to be divinely guided in every choice I make. And I'm becoming more and more aware of what that feels like to be pulled towards, rather than like a fear that's making me not or do or not do something, or like mm, an unhealed part of myself that's trying to learn something through an action, etc. It's like I become more aware of what it is that is asking me to go in different directions. And also, I just, I am blessed to be, and I know that like pretty much most of us are in a certain sense, but I don't think that there's any way to prove whether someone is or is not, because they are living the path that they are for. So it's not like someone's resilient and someone isn't. They are surviving the path that they are on, and that's enough for them to do. Like we don't need to judge people against each other. But yeah, I feel intensely lucky to be the person I am, for the resilience that I've had in coming back to one, or like back to complete focus on, no, this is where I'm going. And in a sense, I think I have to thank my Capricorn placements for that. But Saturn and all, we don't all have the most amazing relationship with. So I'm not going to go down that road any further right now. And I'll choose a card in a moment. But I also noticed when I was grounding for this episode that happened faster. And in my feeling of being connected to the core of the earth. There are these golden roots that greet my energy once they become subterranean. So like in the physical, that is what I would imagine the energy moving as. Obviously energy just goes and moves and everything, but it becomes like this golden sparkling, like no shadow could ever affect it. It's like divine existence and love with complete oneness in mind, sort of a thing. And that is what it is that we are always within access to. And because it came about, like I felt the connection to that so much faster than I have in current days. I know that my growth has aided that, but I also know that that's something that is being like afforded to us. So as much as it's something that the earth and the universe always is, and we have access to through being conscious of our connection to the divine, to the universe, to God, to source, to angels, however it is that we might word it, I feel it's hearing of us doing different, the shifts that are going on planetary wise and within the psyches of humans. It's like when you get to that point in a long distance race and you think that there's so much further to go, and then you actually see the rest of it's downhill, or like you can actually see the end line and you're like, oh shit, I can actually sprint the rest of this. Heck yeah. Like I thought that we were so much further back. I didn't have an understanding of like the map of this run or whatever it is. It feels like that energy. It's like massively encouraging. Like the universe is meeting us where it is, and it will always do this as well, where you are on your path and you're asking and knowing help will come as well, because wanting for it sometimes also projects it out into the future for you, but like knowing it is there always with you. You are divinely guided, you are protected, you are loved, and knowing that, as much as like it takes a lot to get there, because a lot of external things, especially within like the human structure, are made so that you don't know that and don't feel that and are going to like work against you to know that. So it's something that has to come from in here before we start to create it in our external world going forward, because we can do so much better for ourselves through this species than we're actually currently doing. But we'll get there. Yeah, it feels this change. And it's meeting us where we are showing up. And it's like so ridiculously happy to meet us where it is we are ready to meet it, if that makes sense. Like, oh my God, you're acknowledging me for the first time ever. And like that's like your inner self, in a sense, your subconscious or your inner child, or like whichever part that you may be in conversation with or understanding for the first time. And it's also the universe literally saying that to the species that it is living through and as. Because if you think about the fact that like we are one collective species consciousness that has lived for so many generations with like so few of us actually, and like not even safely so, being aware of the fact that it is not only deserving of more, but that it is alive, that it is living, it chose to be here. I'm the universe, I am the divine, and we are all what it is that people have named God, as if it's some external thing for the longest time. God is in us. We are God. All the plants are God. Every living thing, every inanimate thing, every piece of this universe that is in existence is an expression and therefore is God at the same time. Like it's all the universe. And important equally to it. And so, the more people that cultivate this kind of understanding within them, can you imagine what kind of world we would be creating if that's the way that we saw each other and our own selves? I absolutely see it and feel it. And I also love the fact that like I can only see so far ahead, because obviously it's down to choice and stuff, but as far as like seeing that, it's like then there's more. Then there's more after that. Like there is just exponential amounts of growth that we can move through and stuff like that. We haven't even begun to broach en masse what it is that we're capable of as a species that is like so magic and so able to access metaphysical existences and like exist in a metaphysical way through a physical form. No wonder I can't know all the things. I'm in the physical form still. Like I'm in this specific timeline in this life. And so my job is to speak about what it is that I can see for us, and also like do my best to figure out how it is. Because for a long time I was like, oh, I must like help humanity somehow. I want to do this and that. And like it's always like this external thing, which very much fed into like white savior complex and this like feeling of like volunteering and that kind of stuff. And then over a course of certain relationships and things that I went through, I was like, oh my God, I have to heal me first. And it was like right in tandem with what that kind of hit me in like 2019. And then about a year or two later, or like a year and a half, in comes like mental health being more normalized to talk about, because we were like in lockdown, and that was like, it's just the timing has been so aligned, and at the same time to know that it's needed within each individual person feels like incredibly like I can't control the way that someone else treats themselves and the way that they think about this world, and I can't change somebody, and that's up to them to do. And so the only thing I can think to do is to make as much space as possible where I loudly exist in that sort of way, so that it's not like daunting or scary or whatever for the next person to say this stuff out loud, or to even practice it within themselves. And to also manage the fact that yes, there's like the control part of like, oh man, I wish I could do this and that for that person, but it's like maybe not everyone's path to do everything alone in that regard, because I think that if we're creating communities that are based around this sort of stuff, then it becomes easier to like be there for each other in a spiritual way. I don't yet know that we have full trust within each other to like go all that way yet. Like we'll find different people that we align with for a time, and they're a good like reflection of where it is we want to go, or things that we want to learn, or sorry, the time keeps, I'm trying to not distract myself from the flow. But at the same time, it's like so much of the work is internal, and we don't live in a way of existence yet within our human beings, like bodies and like lives, that cultivates trust in the all. And that's not like, yeah, you can cultivate that within yourself, but we also have to understand and like forgive, which is also difficult, the fact that structures such as capitalism and stuff literally profit or like exist whilst there is a belief in lack. And whilst sure, it might be easy for some people to radicalize and just completely divest of capitalism or whatever it is, it's also something that is really scary for a lot of people to leave because they don't know anything else. I get that. It's not like, oh, I love this structure and it's great. Or maybe some people are saying that because they just even don't want to admit that there needs to be change, because that's scary in its own self. But like, even if it is harming them and not benefiting them in the best way, it is easier to go with something that you know than something that you don't. So it's going to take as much time as it takes for this. But I also, like, hate saying that when it literally kills people every single day and like hurts them and or excludes them and all of the different things. But I know that someone listening to this kind of gets this part of it, because it's like, we are a species that in a sense could just go, oh, okay, well, time moves on and then we die and then we're reincarnated, and so nothing matters. And there's like this speaking about like NPCs and people that don't. Why do you think feelings are a part of this existence then? The whole point, and almost the most annoying point, is that like, and it, pokes at you from within, you have feelings. Now, I have a side theory on this, which is that if we continue down a road of like promoting this like imbalance with lack and not abundance in the forefront of our structures, that the evolution of humans would lead us to actually have more and more people who are psychopathic, like narcissistic, basically not in touch with their emotions, because it actually is a survival tactic at a certain point within this what is the word I am looking for within this existence to not feel, because money is what equals survival, and how do you get the most money usually is by not caring about people around you the most. And so just as a side theory, so like your feelings are so much more important, and the fact that you feel them and that you engage with them and that you don't deny them. And I know that it's not easy most of the time for a lot of people, because we've also been, in a sense, burdened with all of the feelings that are not being expressed through other people, which is why sometimes you don't understand all the things that it is that you need to process specifically. But that's because you're also being a part of this energy field as much as your own self. And so therefore the stuff you're processing isn't always necessarily yours. Keep a good, strong energetic field around yourself if this is something that you feel like you're coming across a lot. Like it's gonna, you know, manifest in ways of illness as well as mental illness and stuff like that. Like it is unfair, but at the same time, remembering that we are like one, and that energy is what we are existing as, yet through, it seems, separate tangible forms that are like independent of each other, we are also existing at the same time, like in community with each other on the energetic plane. So energy needs to be processed from one place or another if it's going to be like blocked somewhere else. So that's one of the theories that I have. Theory, opinion, theory, like all of that, but I have it for a reason, so I'm going to say it. And mainly because I don't know that we can prove or know any of this yet, because like how would we have tools to measure it if we have no idea about this part of ourselves? I was going somewhere before I went off on that theory tangent. Feelings mattering, yeah, engaging with them. It, like, they're more than magic. They are literally something that, as the universe existing through this time, the human species, let me try this shit out, blah, and then I'm like evolving, and I'm gonna create literally anything or every single experience that I could think of under the sun. And then as humans experience life more, oh my god, that could happen, cool, let's put like a bunch of that in the next life and see how it goes. Like, I think in a sense that could be looked at as like, if someone, and I don't think that there is one being doing this or whatever, it's more of like the way that like nature grows shit and adapts and evolves and whatever. And this is me being plants, by the way. It would be like that, except for on an energetic planetary size scale of projection of energy, as like something as tiny as a little fly to something bigger like a human to something bigger like Jupiter, right? All of it is a part of this. It's a projection of something that needs to be expressed and understood and is wanting to be, and why? I don't know. We're here though, so let's figure it out. And so the map you see of a person, kind of in a sense, with their astrological placements, I've looked at as like, it's almost like if someone just sat there and was like, what if I, like, what happens in that person's life if I put that there? Or like if they're born with this planet in that place and in this location, and then at that time and into this like lifestyle, this parent area, this country, this, like, all of the variables that could possibly be are just always being tried, right? And I don't know that it's necessarily like, I think the universe really, really wants to experience life as like this one golden being that everything happens for awesome. Like, no, because it is all of us at all the times, including all the living beings and things that are not human as well. Therefore, it's like just fully exploratory. I feel like I can understand it from that perspective. Maybe because of how much Sagittariusness is, and I will never want to stop learning. Like, it's kind of sad to me that my life is so short as to be something that's like going to be, I don't know, anywhere from like a few moments from now to like when I'm 105. There's still not enough time to learn. There's not enough time to read all the books. Like, humans have been figuring shit out for years. And then there's all the wisdom of all the plants and all the planets and all of the energy. Like, I don't have the time when I have to, you know, pay for stuff and deal with a job and part of capitalism and all that kind of crap as well. Especially because, like, my awakening, began with, like, I guess birth, but in a sense with an acid trip where I was like, we're all one. And then it kept going from there. Like, the way that I understand that sentence is mind-bogglingly different and more expanded and deeper than it was when I first understood that. But yeah, I'm like grateful. There's an interesting projection, just as I see like technology or anything that is like art or writing. And that's another thing. If you feel like you want to make something, it doesn't have to be shown to everybody, but the fact that it is wanting to be birthed through you, and that is not necessarily to do with a kid, that is to do with like creation of any kind. It's something that wants to be birthed by the universe. It wants to experience that. You're the vessel that has been chosen in a sense to do that. But at the same time, you, and you don't have to believe this part or whatever, because I don't like pushing this on people, which is another thing I want to come back to. You have chosen the life path in which that is going to be available to you to experience, to then have the perspective to actually project and express. Right? Like, it's a part of you, and denying these things usually doesn't end up going well long term. But, you know, I don't know that we can just go, oh yeah, like we would attribute that thing that's happening to you now to the fact you didn't do that painting. Why not? Why not? Anyway, okay, so I'm not gonna say that to a person though. And shit, it's not for me to know anyway, but it's more like, yeah, theories. Someone, oh yeah, I am, well, this is her tag on Instagram. I am Anna Pepe. So Anna Pepe, I think it's Pepe, maybe Pepe. It's a little repetitive letters and numbers. I am not good at it. So, yeah, I have very much valued her words in the last 2 years or so. Very much so. For just even like this is what I mean by like having anyone or any group or something out there that is also speaking about this stuff in any way that you go, oh my god, yeah, you understand existence in the way that I do, especially when like it just took so long to find people that speak in that way. And then even when I do find them, I end up outgrowing or growing in a different direction, I prefer to say, than them, because they're on their own journey. So it's not about a comparison in a linear way. But from the perspective that I'm at or the place that I've grown to, I'm like, oh, but like now I'm over here and you're still okay, or they're gone that direction. And it's like, well, we align for a short amount of time, and then, you know, beautifully can give each other so much growth and time in that way without even like, or growth and effect to whatever journey it is that we're on, which is beautiful and also can be hard to let go of because, you know, generally humans as they stand don't like change. Oh, I had a really good thought on that the other day. Okay, we'll come back to it. So one of the things that I wanted to come back to too, choosing to be here. It's something that's really empowering to learn. I guess I should put a trigger here. Anyway, I'm not going to go too deep into it. It's more just that like I am a survivor of childhood SA. And so I in no way think that it's okay for someone to say, walk up to me and be like, you chose the life that you're living right now. Right? Just like I don't try to say that to other people, because when you first learn it, it's very like, oh my god, like so much shit clicks all of a sudden. And also, it's like something I feel as though you may hear it worded in different ways and bristle against the hearing of that phrase because of, like, I'm sorry, you think that I chose did happen to me or whatever it is, or like to happen for me, to happen in my life, depending on your experience of like how it is you see the things. Because the growth that I've gone on with the things, that it's not the only occurrence of SA that has happened within my life. And so it's like, okay, I can see that those things were in a sense an invitation for a backstage pass to the patterns and issues that are existing within the psyche and therefore then existences of humans. Because if everything was fine and I was treated like, well, you know, and like this hadn't happened, then I wouldn't know certain things. But I will only ever encourage someone else saying this kind of thing, or myself, to give credit to me for reacting and responding in that way and taking lessons from stuff that someone else has laid upon me. It in no way is me encouraging someone else or me to thank someone who acts anything negative upon another person. Yeah, because they just don't deserve any more energy whatsoever from me at all. Not even negative. Like, you're gone, right? But yeah, I will absolutely and like continue to see it as like, yeah, but you know what? Now I see. And I feel as though like certain things about the life that I get to live, specifically because the body that I was born into, or the life that I am living, or things like that, allow me to see the world the way that I see it. Therefore, you, in whatever way it is you're existing, have your own version of this, of like, I see something that not everyone else necessarily has understood or sees or experiences that are around me. In what way can I use that information? And not necessarily like against people, just like to understand existence better. And that takes a while to come around to. Also, years and years and years have taught me different things. Like the layers keep peeling off about those things. But I now see these negative occurrences or things that I chose would be on my path as things that I chose to be on my path for a reason, so that I could see the feckin' truth of what's feckin' going on here in this human existence. Yeah. And the way that we treat people under, patriarchy and capitalism and ableism and homophobia and all that kind of shit. I see. So, and I'm learning. Wider energy and grounding, aligned timing. Oh yeah. The thing that had occurred to me was, as we develop in our awakening, our relationship, as in our being humans' relationship with trust within our own selves and then within each other, and then I guess also in not necessarily a greater power, but in the fact that we are that greater power. We are the one that is going to come save us when we realize that we are the ones that have the power to do so through changing our mindsets and therefore then our external structures that we have within humanity, right? Globally as well as in community. Starts in here though. Like, the comfort that I have in the fact that things will change. Always. Change is the only constant. And it takes a while to get there. And I guess like this is another thing where I said like I do feel grateful for the mindset that I was born into, the astrological map and such, because change has been a norm since I was young. We moved house a lot. There's been other changes and stuff like, but it's just it's something I'm comfortable in. And at the same time have in the last while really, really grown to understand like how much patience and being still really mattered to me now that I've come to a certain state. Like, rather than there being comfort in change, now I see it more like an awareness that change can come, and then how does like me as a boat on the sea figure out what goes on when a storm comes, because I'm able to weather it, I'm able to survive it. It's absolutely no bother whatsoever. There will be a way through, no matter the size of the storm or the waves, because this is not a physical boat that I am speaking about. But it's not something I take for granted that it has been a part of, because I think it's one of the biggest challenges to changing the way that we currently live, right? And ironically enough, everything that is the universe has been expanding and evolving, and then it like exists through the human species, and then all of a sudden there's a species that are like, no, hang on, change? No, I don't want, like, what? And it seems so like unnatural. But anything that is occurring within our existence is natural, because nature, humans, anything that we have exist or like expressed through us is also an extension of nature. So technology is an extension of nature. It is a theory that I read once, and I kind of get it. That makes sense. It may be in certain senses a perversion of it, or plastic would be more like a perversion, but that's not where I'm going. I think that we need to accept the fact that we are like in a way, I guess, working against ourselves in the greater scheme, because of this. But like, I also think that, oh no, I think that change, seen from the perspective of a community that are continuously there for each other, and therefore, like, going through change as the community, the global community or country, national community, whatever, that we are now, not fun. Because usually those who are marginalized, those who are not included within the general decision makers and all that kind of stuff, like, you know, yeah, they knew. Change is not kind then, because everyone's not included in it. It's not seen as something, it's seen as like more hardship usually, and it's being put on more so those who have been forgotten and left out of major decisions, right? But like, imagine in the other realm that we could create for ourselves, or like in this realm that we are creating for ourselves, that's how we're saying it, where inclusion is like absolutely just a given within decisions that are being made for the all. Every voice, every single voice is heard, included, understood. Those who have no voice as well, like animals, or like literally those who don't or can't speak, plant life, energetic existence in general within our energy field, all of it is taken into account because there is an understanding that we're all connected and that we're all going to feel this anyway, right? Like, imagine that is the community that we're living in. That is a community built for as change comes, because we still can't control everything, even if we're a society that are like, you know, aware now and conscious of each other and stuff like that, conscious of our existence that is not just the tangible. Like, in that, it's almost like change then comes at us and we view it as a team rather than as having to deal with it as individuals. And it's like, oh, so we could look at it like we're denying an essential bit of the universe, but it's not that we're denying change. It's denying what we're doing is denying the like existence that actually is our highest version of ourselves, our most understood, loved, included version of ourselves within and out. Like, that is why change, such a like normal and necessary part of evolution, of life, of existence, seems like such a massive challenge, because we are already living out of alignment with what it is that is available to us when we are in alignment with like the flow that we're living in, regardless of whether we're actually aware of it or not. And so like, we could say we're misaligned, but I also think that we are in a way aligned with the way that we currently see life, which is finite. And this is mostly in a Western world way, obviously, but like, it's still this like finite belief has been imposed on people left, right, and center. And like, yeah, just like imbalance in general is something that's normalized, and all of this minimizing and disempowering of what it is to exist, and treating the world as if it doesn't have feelings is just like, wow, yeah, we feel. And the more you tap into also being a part of like understanding you're connected to this energetic field, be kind to yourself, because you are feeling this always, regardless. I went through a period of time over the last, like, I gotta say, like 10 years, because you know, predominant amount of the awakening had to do with like inner work and feeling pain from stuff that I hadn't even realized, like, knew had happened, and hadn't understood the weight and gravity of what it was that I went through in my body. And so therefore then processing that and things that I was going through at that time were like an internal processing thing. And then I spent a whole bunch of time really, really, really sensitive, very sensitive to the outside world, like to other people's energies, emotions, to things that I was going through. Also, I mean, things like my ears wouldn't stop popping for like almost a full year. Like, I was always going up and down in a plane, but I wasn't, you know, I was just lying down. Literally every time I would like, that was what triggered it mostly. Lying down and getting back up again. I had like a wincing feeling, kind of like the word cringe, but like nails across a chalkboard sort of a feeling, for so many sounds. It was just like I was raw. I felt like physically raw, even though I was, you know, intact, more or less. I mean, I can't think of any other examples now, but it's just like in any and every way possible. And it's like that's balancing out a little bit now, but I also notice in ways when it comes back, when I'm near like harsher energy or having to process something, because of being near that harsher energy. And like, just, it's interesting. And it's like, I thought for a while, oh, I'll never be able to be near large groups of people ever again. And now in a way, there's still a bit of anxiety around that. Kind of more to do with like my trust of the all, in a sense, of large groups of people, but then also that I'll do something out of my comfort zone from that place of sensitivity in the last little while here. And I'm like, oh, I feel fine. I feel okay. But I've been so used to like staying away from it because I needed to for so long through a period of time. And like that very much is a body in its physical form and in its energetic form now are aligning. And the experience that the both are having are understood through the mind that is aware of the both of them at the same time. And this is going to speak to you in your dreams as much as through music and numbers and people and random phrases and things that stick out and memories that pop up at a certain time and you're not completely sure why, or they keep coming back on, or lights that flicker, or a thing you find on the ground. Like it, any way, in whatever way you experience the universe and existence, this stuff will be communicated to you. And also, I implore you, is that a word I'm going to use? All right, let's go for it. To look for, because at this stage I'm also just kind of letting it flow. And then I acknowledge it and it stops. You are being seen. You're not forgotten. These are things that are trying to communicate to you. And though they may feel like nonstop, or you don't understand them yet, or like another thing, I can, like, that's real. And be aware of, like, you don't need to always be doing this kind of work. You don't need to always have your attention on the external and what it is that the universe needs from you. You come first. That is the main thing. Like, there may always be something that needs to be processed or understood through this existence, but your own, and this is where I mean, like, have protective understanding of, like, your energy in whatever way that makes sense to you. Because you are your responsibility before you're going to take on anyone else's. And so when people say you have to heal yourself before you heal other people, that does not stop at mental health. Like, that is a big part of the experience of it. But it's like energetic as much as it's subconscious, as much as it's like past lives and future versions of us and timelines and planets, and like we are all here at the exact same time, which is also why I say thank you so much for being here at the same time as me, because whether you are aware of it or not, you're a part of the life that I am living. If we've never crossed paths in person, you're still a part of the life that I am living. Not only because you possibly are interacting with this, which is probably the only way that you would actually hear these words, but because you're in the energy field at the same time. And like, I choose to feel the abundance of that. I choose to acknowledge the shadow of that without allowing it to take from me my work towards what I see for us in the future. No matter how many lifetimes of coming back and saying this, it takes me to get there with us, as us. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for listening to that. I just felt as though, yeah, needed to happen. Okay. You are so loved. Like, more than you probably can understand through the physical being that you are existing as currently. And you're always supported. And there are energetic supports whether you see it as ancestors or angels, or I call mine guides and guardians, because they're kind of a mix of a few different genres of folk and beings and such. Source, your higher self, there is a team. Just ask. Okay. Okay, we're gonna whoop. Okay. I'm trying to shuffle this poofy deck with cards, all this different sizes and shit. Just like, well, that's what felt right, and then we got one, so. I was wondering when you would come out. Alright, and I'm speaking to, can I get the card? How do I stay in this? Oh, Jesus. Oh, that's not gonna hold it up. Okay, we're going back up again, and I will hold the card up. Eee, it's a new stand. Alrighty. Oh, you can't see that. 6 of clubs. So, I have pointed this one out in maybe episode 1 or 2, something like that. So as you can see, this is the back of the card, and then this is the front of the card. And they, like, you know, would be glued together, whatever together, and then like separated basically, because I found this in like a half an inch of water. So I know exactly where this one came from. I mean, it stands out a little bit. And I remember the day I walked back with it. Do I have anything to like have this material that's got something in it? Oh, this is perfect. Okay, this is a little bag that it comes in. I walked, what, 4 blocks? Because it was like by 14th Street, but then like 3rd Avenue. So I walked over 2 blocks, but like avenue blocks, and then up 1 street in New York City, with it like that over my finger. Like it was completely bent, it was completely wet. I had to scoop it, and then it just did like a little U over my finger, and I brought it back and I laid it out and it dried, and then I had this. And that was maybe within the first 10 to 15 cards, maybe even less, that I had found at that point. And it survived. And so, yeah. Alrighty, let's see what you have. Because I'm getting like already so loudly the second that it fell. It was like, love! Which I know about the number 6 itself, so there's that, but okay. Ooh, okay. Ha. Okay. Hello. Oh, thank you. Alrighty. Oh. And this is exactly what I was starting to realize when I was like looking back and thinking about like the ones that I pick up and then the things that I feel called to say that day. And I'm like, they're so aligned. Yeah, because divine timing, this is what that is in living form of like, oh, the thing that I need is also the thing that is available right at the right time. I'm being met where I'm at. Oh, okay, that even goes into, okay, let me just speak about the card. So, the last thing that I got there from it, which I was reacting to the most because it just felt like stay. Okay, is I thought I got the number 333 from it, And I was like, are you sure? Because that equals 9. They're like, start writing 3. And I wrote another 3. And I'm like, what's the next digit then? Empty. No answer. 3, 3. Which does equal 6, so that makes more sense. But it also is balance in a way of, because I see 222 as being 6 and balance and love. Like it's spoken about a lot, right? Because it's an angel number with it's like repeating so many times. But 3 and 3 are 2 whole, very balanced pieces. 3 being my tripod is what that's standing on, for example. And it's like a number of celebration, of triumph, of like I've held my breath, now I can release it. Like there is completion and also a continued journey ahead, right? And also it's a 6, so it makes 2 3s together, but it's like literally the universe or the journey or the path or anything that you ever seek for, whilst living aware of the fact that it will come to you, will meet you where you're at. So 3 and 3, like you be the 3, I'll be the other 3 is what the universe is saying through that. You can trust me. And so I've added the you can trust me part, but that's, yeah. Okay, so I got a waterfall. I did ask at one point what element it was. It said water. Like I literally found it in the rain, so that was the duh moment. I'll just read everything out. I got like this waterfall feeling, but not like a cold one where like the water is coming from some icy mountain or something. It's like warm water and it's pink but sparkly. What is that word? Power. Yeah, I just like a lot of cursive. Warm water glimmering, that was the word. Yeah, it felt like the softness of cashmere, like being very cozy, cared for, safe, warm. Cashmere to me is like very grounding and like soft materials in general, because it brings me like it's a part of being a tangible being that I just have been relishing, because why would you not have everything be the most comfortable thing that it can be? I'm existing in a tangible body. Comfort. I can feel, I have a tangible touch feeling. I'm gonna serve it well, you know? And so curtains, just curtains came up, like heavy ones. The color navy. What else? Love. Oh yeah, the love of a pet. So I felt the card wanting to go specifically to my right side, and it felt like the way that my like I would say late cat, but long story. A cat that I had, which accompanied me for a while, specifically through a healing part of my, like a really intense healing part of my journey. She actually had like little tufts of hair where wings would be, and I have since absolutely known for 100% sure she was an angel that came to me when I needed her, and then went and found other people that needed her after that, because I had grown to a place where I didn't need her anymore. In a sense, I did intensely need her and want her to be in my life still. But I'm not always in control of these things. So story for another time. Yeah, so the love of a pet, that is unconditional. And then the number 7, the number 11, weeping. Oh yeah, weeping in like a way of needing, like when you do so and it releases, like a really beautiful, like it's not like I need to cry and release this, it's more like a relief weeping. I wrote hug. I don't remember writing that. Then loud and proud, unashamed, pink light surrounding me. Oh yeah, like this like auric field of just like pink love light surrounding me that like emanated joy. I got Knight of Wands energy, like things could very easily move fast, and Wands had to do with fire, but I also felt like there was this cups energy, and that's because of the water involved in it and everything. And this is tarot speaking, but like a Knight of Wands is the fastest moving knight in the deck, fastest moving card in the deck. Things are moving quick. 8 of Wands is also a fast moving card, but or like signifies fast movement, right? In a sense, this is the Chariot, but another time. Yeah. Knight of Wands. Supportive energy. Oh my god, so much bigger than, like, this is, and I was like, this is like what I was literally just saying in that, like, kind of channeled and felt message of, like, the energy of the love that is available to us and surrounds us at all times, literally because we are an existing piece of the universe, is so much bigger than our bodies can comprehend. And I never want to say that and, like, have you feel any guilt or frustration, or like impatience with yourself or with whatever it is, because that's not something that you feel that you have access to or whatever. Know that just an awareness of the fact that it's there, having trust in the fact that it's there, and believing in the fact that it's there, regardless of whether you've ever felt it or not, is like an intensely strong thing to be incorporating into your mindset, into your life practice and stuff like that. Because I'm not going to go into the why, but almost every single thing that is built into the human, like, chosen structure as it stands is built so that you don't ever learn that, so that you forget it. Just know that you, like, are doing everything you need to do just by believing that it's there, regardless of whether you have felt love that size or experienced it from another human. This is love that I think so far some humans can. Look up Michael Threets. And there's definitely others that are exhibiting this and living this, but they're also still a person, a human in human form. And this is something that is available to live through all of us. And I am so thankful that some people come here with the ability to exhibit that towards others within their existence as a human, so that we might know that it's available through human form, but it is always, always available from a universe form, from, like, your experience and perspective of existence form. So therefore that you can feel it, but I would not always encourage looking to humans first as a place to experience the bountiful abundance of love and of joy and of just pure celebration of your existence. I would not look to humans or tell you to look to humans first for finding that celebration of your existence, because we're all part of this plane. You've met humans, right? So as much as we are getting there, and definitely a lot of us want to give that kind of love all the time, or like exhibit in within ourselves and therefore emanate it outwards, that kind of love, universe has it for us. Like, it is experienceable through your heart, through your body, even if it's not being given to you. Like, if you need permission, there you are. You have permission to feel that, but you don't need a reason to. You don't need to earn it. It's because you exist that you are allowed to feel exactly that amount of love, because you exist. Hill I will die on. Okay, I also asked it if anything to say. I got a few things. So I am here, I am here, I am here. Supportive energy. I've got you was another thing. And this is the card, the universe speaking through the card, through me to you, so you know where the messages are coming from. The other thing I want, or that it had to say, was, I want you to know I am in everything. Your eyes will open when they are ready. When ease comes, you will see. And you are seen. And then there was forgiveness, because it kind of goes hand in hand with the unconditional love, but it's like, there's no, like, ultimate daddy in the sky who's mad at us for not going fast. Like, we are the universe. We are the power that be, right? And so how you choose to see it is up to you. But I also know, in a sense, there's no linear progression that needs to happen. This is not about linear movement necessarily. This is about expansion of the existence through what it is that is intangible. And the fact that our species has been either not there yet or is scared to be, and we're starting to awaken to the fact that it's available to us, there's going to be pushback. This is not just going to be like, oh, cool, people are awakening, and then one person after another over the generations to come will eventually be somewhere. But this takes active work within your own life and standing up for exactly this kind of work and what you're doing inside of yourself when you're ready, because it took me a lot of years to be able to say this in front of a camera or to upload it or whatever it is. And that's important. When you're ready, when it is aligned, divine timing, there's a reason for it and things like that. But there will be pushback because amongst our energy is still a lot of people who are not willing to do certain healing, or I go back and forth from wanting to speak about them as if they are like other humans that are holding us back, and also from the perspective of like, we are all one. And so I feel like intense sorrow that there are beings on this planet that project their anger and hatred and egoic misunderstandings of existence onto others through, like, they're also a being too, and they're just existing in such pain that they express it outwards, and it's like so much louder than the love. And it's like, how do you move when you can, what do you do when you can see it from both of those perspectives? Oh, I don't feel like I have to have an answer. I think that's just helpful for me to say out loud because I know other people have struggled with that kind of thought process as well. Okay, and then Jesus, that was a lot. Just stuff I think about like almost every single day. So thank you for being here with me. Oh yeah. And then this one was random. I decided to like look at the physical card and get something from it. And I felt this like, I'm like, I don't know what this is for, or who this is for, but it was like this love that someone is having for like a wall that has like all this chipped paint all over it. Like they've walked back into a house that held so many memories from a certain point in time, either in a past life or like in this lifetime. And now they're walking in and they're able to see the walls with so much love, even though they've fallen into ruin. So there you are for that one. I've spoken in as much understanding of it as I can, because I know that there's metaphors in it, but it was very specifically like I could feel the paint pull, you want to go pick it off the wall and everything, but it was like the being that was looking at this wall that like I was like looking through the eyes of, right? Just felt like so much like kindness and love. Yeah, acceptance. It's like acceptance, pure unconditional love. Just yeah. Oof. Yeah. Alrighty. Oh, I feel my crown chakra all lighter right now. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah. I hope this reaches some part of you that needed to hear it, and it's always going to be here to come back to, as long as YouTube's available. Obviously, I don't have control over that, but these things are timeless. So as much as I found the cards at a certain time in my path, and then at another time in my path, I feel called to and ready to express each of those cards individually with channeled pieces, and that's coming together more and more. And like, I would see this as something I needed at different stages of my growth, of just like someone else speaking about this sort of way of existing and understanding of existence, and also just like questioning it, not telling me what it is that I'm supposed to be experiencing, or like how to use it against things, because, or not against things, but I mean, I understand from our perspective of, this is the last subject I'll speak on, maybe I understand from, and like forgive, I understand this, like we live literally in a mindset of lack. We are created to be in need of something that others have, and therefore, oh, I just thought of a tangent, therefore they have certain power, right? So we're in this lack. So manifestation, and the fact that you can like call on things and ask for things, while is your birthright, I also want to encourage you to understand, in whatever way it comes to your perspective of understanding, that as much as like we have rights that we have not been abundantly like giving to humans through our existence over time, we also have a responsibility to being a part of the energetic field that is the universe at the same time as having rights to it, right? And so yeah, I kind of don't want to say much more on that because I can't tell you what your responsibility to this is. I would say for the most part things to do with like healing and inner like love and intuition and um what being open to serendipity. Really? Being open to love. Yeah, finding a way to open yourself again in a world that is like incredibly layered in harshness, but know that as you continue to unfurl and allow love in your own existence and life, especially after having done so much. Oh my god, that's totally right. Yeah, okay, sorry, I'm just like there's messages. It is not easy to go through the point of time of growth where you're mad sensitive and everything. Like I know this and I'm kind of forgetting it. Like to open yourself back up again to like believing that there's good, believing that you deserve in good, believing that like people will come through, that there is support for you energetically in this existence is not easy. It's not easy. That's why I thanked Anna Pepe earlier. Pepe, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. But people like that, because I know that there's more people that speak in that certain way, but there's just like just an unabashed belief in whatever in like positivity and in not only like the ability of manifestation and the belief in one's own powers, but in that we deserve good. Like, and it's always that message from this person, and I mean, and so many others too, but it's just like finding that influence is helpful. But I will also say that you won't stay unless you're ready to hear that, because I've watched people that I've shown this person to and they like pretty much deny it for themselves because they're not saying it to me like, ah, that's wrong. They want to believe it, but they're not yet ready to like into, and that's okay because that's where they're at in this journey. So it's not to impose on people, but it's more like, yeah, when you get to that place, know that you are supported, know that it's safe. And also that through your growing, you have developed healthier coping mechanisms or ways in which that you can understand and reframe this. And it's all of a sudden easier, like things that would have really made you crumble a year ago or 5 months ago or 10 years ago, whatever. You're going to be able to get through and you're going to be so surprised all of a sudden that you did, but like you're able now. And that to and fro of growth and knowing that you're there for yourself regardless of what someone, because you can't control the external world, but you can and have been learning how to respond within yourself and developing your perspective so that it's still a place of love in here, no matter what it is outside of yourself. Okay. And then, and because you have listened this far in it, I would say I have ultimate faith in you as a being, because this was a lot to listen to and I'm really glad. I'm really glad that you're here, that you exist in general, but also that you are a part of a community that is speaking about existence in this way and trying to understand it and stuff like that. That's just yay. What was the other thing? If they had to take the power in the first place to be lording power over us, then where does the power actually lie? If someone has to take your power to be the one who's holding power over you, who actually has the power then? You do. In case that's not obvious from the facial expressions that I've made after it, I don't want to be in any way having someone miss this cue. We, who are purposely disempowered, purposely marginalized, purposely not included, are not only like people are scared of whatever things like that, true, but in the like most simple essence of us, if the power lies somewhere and it needs to be taken away for someone else to have yeah, the power in we had the power, we have that, right? Like, it's in us always. And also we need to start understanding power in like a very different way to the way that I guess a patriarchal society would have you understand it. But I think that we're getting there because of mental health being something that is something we're so much more available to talk about now. Anyway, okay, that's everything for today. And so, wait, oh geez, you know what I want to do is send, if you would like it, consent to it in some way. If not, that is absolutely okay, and then I will see you in another episode of this, or never again, or whatever. Anyway, I will channel clearly one thing through this. It was 1 when I said that. Damn. All right. I love you. Okay. Like, it seems so simple and obvious, but what I'm gonna channel is unconditional love. Because it's what's available to us, and we're just let ourselves astray. So yeah, that's what I'm and I'm going to have rose quartz here and selenite in front of me as well. So that this is because it's such a big energy, and a most precious one, I am going to be very intentful, like as I always am, but I'm now saying it out loud so that you're a part of this thing, and just for, like, you know, mental safety, things like that. This is a channeled energy only coming through me, as I remain a clear channel for the universal energy. For those who are willing to receive it on the other end, it is the energy of unconditional love. It is moving from the universe through me to those who are receiving it. Thank you. I am a clear channel for this energy. Okay, let me call it in.